Hello. Big news on the Metro Innovation Hub. We've had a couple of startups here in town that I've been kind of categorizing as the next generation of startups that have news, and then a whole bunch of other stuff we'll get into. But I'm happy to be back in the Silicon Florist World headquarters to bring you this episode. Was in Bend last week. Thanks for putting up with that episode that was out of studio, but wanted to get into just some quick things. First and foremost, our friends at Enduring Planet have closed on their $12 million fund. It's a climate focused fund. Really excited for them. I know they've been working on it really hard, and really excited to see what they do with that. This is their second fund, so excited to see what happens there. But I really wanted to get into the big news real quickly. So if you've been paying attention to social media currently, if you're on the socials, I don't care where you are. Could be Reddit, could be Facebook, could be Twitter, could be Blue Sky, could be Threads, what have you, could be YouTube. YouTube is social. We're being social here. We have a parasocial relationship, you and I. You've probably come across the the drama around the bricks and minifigs thing and Reckless Ben and what's happening there. I don't want to go into a lot of detail here, but I want you to know that there's a very Oregon component of this story, because not only was the store that received the consigned hundreds of thousands of dollars of Star Wars memorabilia a Kaiser, Oregon store, Kaiser down by Salem. Not only was that part of it, but Bricks and Minifigs was actually founded here in Canby, Oregon. So if you haven't been following, here's the basic thing. So some folks in Kaiser took a whole bunch of Star Wars Legos and minifigs and wanted to consign them through the Bricks and Minifigs store, and then the Bricks and Minifigs store changed ownership, and apparently when they changed ownership, they forgot that those people owned that thing and were owed money. That's the easiest way to explain it. And it's been blowing up on the internets, as it were. And for you, I just wanted you to understand that if you're why am I paying attention to this? What is going on? That there is definitely an Oregon angle here to pay attention to. I would not be surprised to see some, people are getting arrested. There's a GoFundMe that's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's one of those very much social tempest in a teapot kind of things. But I just wanted to let you know that if you're paying attention to it, that's all good, because there's an Oregon angle there. Might not be a positive Oregon angle, but it's an Oregon angle nonetheless. So if you haven't been tracking on it, please check out Reckless Ben and what he's been doing in support of this, this person who tried to consign things at Bricks and Minifigs, and then through the permutations and machinations of businesses changing hands, shit went sideways, basically. So I'm not making any disclosures. I'm not judging anyone. These are complicated situations. If you look at it from one angle, you're that's really bad. They shouldn't have done that. And you look at it from the other angle, you're well, who was paying attention to what? I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're tired of seeing the Bricks and Minifig stuff, just know that it has an Oregon angle. So an Oregon social angle. So that's important. I will keep tracking on it. I just wanted to highlight it for folks in case they were wondering, why do I care? You care because there's an Oregon angle. That's it. That's why you care. Big news, challenging news with the Portland Metro Region Innovation Hub. the hub of innovation in the Portland metro region, has lost another executive director. So their initial executive director, they lost that executive director a ways back. They hired somebody new. Now that executive director is now moving on to not doing the Innovation Hub kind of stuff. And if you're not familiar with the Innovation Hub stuff, so the Innovation Hub, conceptually, the Innovation Hub stuff is, I think there are 9 throughout the state. I should know. Honestly, I should know, but I don't know. I think there are 9 or 10. And these Innovation Hubs are designed to be like research, documentation, wayfinding for entrepreneurs and people pursuing innovation in their particular region. That this was documented in the Oregon Innovation 10-year plan, which is 5 years in, and apparently they're doing a review on it to see how well they're doing. And if word around the campfire is correct, they've hired exactly the same company that wrote the plan to do the review. Take that as you will. So all that aside, like the Innovation Hubby sort of stuff seemed like a good idea. So in the plan, it basically said, try and create these hubs for regions that can collaborate with one another, but can also serve as wayfinding for both regions and throughout the state. And so there's the Metro Region Innovation Hub. You've heard me talk about the hub in the Gorge, or the hub in Bend, or the hub in Eugene, or Southern Oregon. Like, there are hubs all over the place. Pendleton, hubs, hubness. But I tend to be really more focused on the Portland Metro Region Innovation Hub because I tend to focus a lot on Portland, as you well know. So really important part of our ecosystem, was becoming a player especially in the entrepreneur support organizations, really helping those organizations figure out what they were doing. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I believe wholeheartedly that the state of Oregon has over-encumbered and overtaxed these particular organizations with the role they're designed to play. I think they created unnecessary duplication and repetition of activity in each region by the doctrine that they put forth for these innovation hubs. So I'm not in full agreement on the Innovation Hub, but it's still a valuable resource, still important for innovators, entrepreneurs, founders in our community. And now they're looking for a new executive director. So fully respect Assad and his decision to step away. No gripes there, no complaints. I am just concerned that at this fragile time in our community where wayfinding and support is exceptionally critical to entrepreneurs, founders, and innovators, that our regional innovation hub is not exactly rudderless, but it has no leadership. So I will be watching this closely. I will keep you up to date. I've talked to a few folks on the texting slacking from the Innovation Hub. I'm catching up with Joe Janda from Portland State next week to discuss his thinking and how we can be helpful and what they need and all those kind of things. But all in all, just quite frankly, unfortunate news for our community at a time when we're kind of honestly flailing a little bit, that the Innovation Hub is looking for new leadership. So if you're interested in that role, please stay tuned. I will let you know when the job description and application has been posted please stay tuned. I will definitely highlight that. I will definitely encourage you to apply if that's something you're interested in. Definitely a needed role in the community, in Portland, throughout the state, all of those things. Just somewhat saddened that we were without leadership right now, but I wish Assad and his family the best of luck on the next chapter. Okay, happier news. On to two of the startups that are on my list for I'm trying to do this thing where I'm like, who are the Portland startups? Who are the people we reference when people ask about Portland startups? And two of them had news this week. One was Prophetic. Prophetic is, they're working in the AI. And they are focused on helping people develop parcels of property, land, those kind of things, helping to simplify that kind of thing. I believe at the end of last year, may have been early this year, they landed a huge client, one of the premier builders in the country chose to use Prophetic to do their work. And this week, or maybe last week, maybe a little late because last week was a little crazy, Prophetic just signed MI Homes, which is another major developer who is going to use the Prophetic platform to do their land selection and simplify all that stuff and hopefully build more housing because that's critically needed right now. And anything we can do to take friction out of the process of building new housing or corporate environments for that matter, but particularly housing and that kind of consumer level real estate purchases, and Prophetic is definitely helping with that on any number of facets and any number of ways. Really happy to hear that they landed another major client, which will keep, obviously, them growing rapidly, continuing to improve their technology. This was really exciting news, and my excitement might not be coming out as much as I would like it to be because I'm kind of sad about the Innovation Hub stuff, but congratulations to Prophetic. Definitely going to keep an eye on Oliver and the team and all the work they're doing, and Scott, who's leading marketing over there now, and all that kind of stuff. I'm super excited about what Prophetic has, their potential, how they're leveraging AI. They're just like this perfect kind of maelstrom of innovation and activity in the community, working on a really important project and a really important thing that we absolutely need. And really nice to see yet another major developer appreciate what Prophetic is doing and really, quite honestly, taking a risk on a startup because they believe in the concept and what they're trying to do. So congratulations to Prophetic on landing MI Homes. Then the other one, and this is the one, I have interacted with Marty, the co-founder of this company, any number of times. Serial founder, Sodexis was a great exit. That was the company he helped found previously. And this one I love because it's one of those where it's like they were skating to where the puck was going to be, and they didn't even quite realize it. And then, of course, it's hydraulics. So hydraulics has this concept of a streaming data lake. The streaming data lake is this perfect kind of data instantiation for the world of AI. So you need these huge data repositories, but you need them to be active so that you can access them rapidly with, your LLMs or your SLMs or whatever it is with the LM you're doing. You need data. You need data to feed the AI, to train the AI. The beauty of what hydraulics had built and continues to innovate upon was this streaming data lake concept where it's a huge amount of data that's immediately accessible to things like agents and bots and LLMs and all that kind of thing. And so what happened with hydraulics that was so exciting? They were named the #1 fastest growing company by Portland Business Journal. So congratulations to Hydraulics. I know they get awards here and there and everywhere, but this is one of those completely tangible, really important, really nice to see that a local startup is a local startup that is a well-funded startup that is exceptionally well-timed is one of the fastest growing companies in the region. So congratulations to Marty and the team. Congratulations to Hydraulics. They're also one of the best places to work, according to PBJ. But, this is one of those times where it really crystallizes that Hydraulics is one of the marquee companies here in the community. We need to be highlighting what they're doing. We need to be supporting what they're doing. We need to be promoting how great they are, because that's all part of making this stuff work. So I just wanted to highlight that Hydraulics, according to the Portland Business Journal, is the number one fastest growing company in the region. Okay. Yeah. So I've been getting a lot of commentary from folks. We're now in the secrets section. Like, if you're not interested in listening to me complain or sharing secrets with you, like, this is what I do at this point in the time in the episode. Like, I'm not trying to win your favor. I'm just telling you what's going on. So, last week, if you watched the episode, I really didn't promote it because it was kind of a shitty episode, and it may pop up, not through no fault of Ben, but I just wasn't happy with the episode last week, and it felt a little rushed, and part of that was because I was traveling. I was down in Bend. I was there for a panel. I had the opportunity to kind of share my perspective, but also participate on the panel and collaborate with some other folks that were kind enough to be on the panel with me. I'm waiting for some content, and maybe my chair is creaking way too much, but I'm waiting for some content, and when and if I get that content, I'll be happy to share that with you. Like, all the things I said weren't nice, and I was really cranky. But as many people have been reflecting to me, I seem to have become much more bitter and cynical in the past, weeks and months, and that's fair. Yeah, I am a little bitter and cynical, but that too shall change. Anyway, so down in Bend, that was great. Thank you for having me down there. Thank you for putting up with me saying my shit and doing the things, but also hopefully I conveyed some interesting or important information to the folks who were able to attend the Ben panel, and thank you to everyone who showed up. Had the chance to share my conversation with Matt Hickson of Telligence. Telligence, I love. They're one of the first, I think they were in Portland Seed Fund's first fund. So, like, they've been doing AI for like 15 years before anybody was really thinking about AI or talking about it. And they've really done some amazing things that help with the fidelity of LLMs and ensuring that they deliver consistent messaging time and time again. So if you've dealt with LLMs, which I'm sure you have, like, you may ask it a question and it will say one thing, you ask it the exact same question, it'll say a fucking completely different thing. That's where Telligence is working to like help fix some of that. And they've done some research and some papers and that kind of thing. And I was able to highlight that post this week, but also the conversation I had with Matt Hickson, the co-founder of Telligence. So if you have a chance, please go watch that. Got to go to the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network, Angel Oregon Consumer Packaged Goods finale demo day kind of thing. That was great. Got to see a lot of the CPG folks, got to see folks from Built and Mentors and all that kind of thing. And it's Manny's. I don't know. Sorry, I should have done full research, but I'm not so CPG focused. Mayonnaise, whole grain, mayonnaise, heritage grain. They do heritage grains, European grains, so that people who have gluten sensitivity here in the US have access to flour-based, grain-based products that do not detrimentally affect their gluten allergies or celiac or what have you. So they walked away with the win. Darren from Smith Tea Maker was the keynote. He did great, amazing, shared a bunch of really good information. So I was really happy to be there. And congratulations to Yalda, who organizes the Angel Oregon stuff. Like, that's her thing. But of course, to Kara and Riley and the whole team who helped put that together. They're at the Mission, and I may have something coming up at the Mission. You might want to mark your calendar for August 7th, 2027 for the Mission. Just saying, because you're here for secrets. I think I'll let you know on that. Talk to some folks, like some founders that I'd worked with way back when, some Pi alums. Was great. Got to talk with some of my peers on the East Coast. I know one of my peers on the East Coast has a Kickstarter going for a new book that she just wrote. Annika Horn Takes a Valley. I'll link that up. But there's a Kickstarter for It Takes a Valley. Unfortunately, she has quoted me in there, but you can ignore that part of the book. I think I got my Eric Ries books, speaking of books, so may have something coming up there. And, got to talk to a few other people here locally, caught up with some folks who are doing interesting stuff. And then, before I sign off completely, this is June 5th when I'm recording it. You might not be watching it on June 5th, but I did want to wish our friend, without my chair creaking, I wanted to wish our friend Stephen Green a very, very happy birthday. Got a lot of Geminis in my life, and Stephen Green is definitely one of those important Geminis in my life. So, happy birthday, Stephen. I hope you had a good day, and I hope you have a great weekend, and happy birthday, and all of those things. If it's not your birthday, I hope you have a good weekend too. Or I hope if you're watching this later in the week that you have a good week. I just hope you're not as bitter and cynical as people are telling me that I am currently. I somewhat like being bitter and cynical. So it really, in the cockles of my heart, the cockles, it makes me quite happy. But apparently to some other folks, they would prefer I move back to being more positive and optimistic. I will work on that. I promise I will work on that. Oh my God, these secrets are longer than the episode. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here. I'm glad it's just you and me, where I can be honest with you and share secrets. It's always good to catch up like this. And I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're hanging in there, and the weather's improving and everything's great. Hope your startup's going good. Hope you're getting the traction or the customers or the revenue or whatever it is, the MRRs or ARRs that you need. Hope you're getting those as well. And until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.